Welcome to Connectica, Renae.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be jumping on the mic with you.
Me too. Would you like to introduce yourself to our audience today?
Yes, so I am Renae O'Neill, and first and foremost, I'm a wife and a mum of two. And I'm also a life and business coach for women in business. So I have a business brand, Life Aligned Business, and it's really about being able to create a business that supports your life outside of business. Because what I often see is so many women getting caught up in their beautiful business that they forget to enjoy life outside of their business. So I bridge the gap between those two worlds to allow you to have your life and your business coexist. And I do that through my coaching, and I have a podcast as well. So love podcasting. And I've been in business for actually over 18 years. And every time I say that, it surprises me. And then I think, gosh, am I old enough to have been in business 18 years? But yes, no, I have been. So I've been in business for 18 years and I've been across so many different businesses in that time. So the last 6 years have been coaching. Before that, I had a bridal shop where I got to take brides to be through the whole experience of picking the dress. I have worked and gone up in the ranks of a multi level marketing business before. I have created an e commerce with a bath and body product line. So, like, I've had all of these different businesses over my time. But the past 13 years has also been alongside being a mum, which brings its own challenges. Business is a ride in itself. Being a mum is also, so equally, those two together. And then about 5 years ago, I walked away from a government job that I'd had for like 12 years. So I'm very familiar of what it's like to juggle all of the things, including business.
I was so excited when you said that you would come on because I know that we are so aligned in how we think about designing a business around your life and working with your life, especially if you have kids. Because I know when I started my business, having young children at home, it's not the same as having full time capacity with no interruptions. Like you really do have to work differently, don't you? What's been
Oh,
your experience?
absolutely. And what's interesting is so often we see it from the lens and perspective of being a mum in business makes it hard. And look, I'm not going to say that it's not hard because my gosh, I know how hard it is to juggle the two. It is a mammoth task, but equally there's also this opposite side to the spectrum too, where actually when you're a mum, you get really, really good at being able to manage your time and juggle responsibilities and priorities because you have such limited time and capacity that you're like, I have half an hour while my little one is napping or whatever that looks like for you. I'm going to use that as best as I possibly can. And you get in and you get things done. Whereas sometimes, and I've seen this because it's happened to me too, where once my children started school, I was like, I have like all this time. It's going to be incredible and amazing. And look at me go once I have all this time available to me. But I found that the 5 hours I had available to me meant that I was taking 5 hours to do things that once upon a time would have took me an hour. And it's because all the time we have is all the time it will take to do a certain thing. So sometimes I actually think that it's a superpower, and I like to look at it from that perspective because I see so many mums in business feel like they're at such a disadvantage, and then it prevents them from taking action. It prevents them from having the business they want, and I hate to see that. So I like to flip the script completely and be like, let's look at this a whole nother different way. And when you do that, it's amazing how different it feels.
So true. That was exactly my experience as well. So I had a FIFO husband, started up the business, had a toddler in tow, and it was limited. It really was limited time when you've got a child who needs you. But when my kids were going to school, I was like, I'm going to have all this time up my sleeve now. And somehow We still feel the same of like, I just wish I had that extra hour. And you do. You have to learn to work smarter, I think. So that's where I love automations. Do you use automations in your business?
Yes, yes. I'm all about working smarter, not harder, because again, for me, so much of my work is about getting time back so you can enjoy your life, so that you can have time to yourself, so that you can enjoy spending time with your loved ones and your family and doing things that you love and enjoy outside of the realm of business. And so, any way you can make business easier is a big tick from me. And so, a question I often ask myself when it comes to anything in business is, how can I make this easier on myself? And honestly, when you get in the habit of just simply asking yourself that one question, all of a sudden you're like, well, actually, if this was done, like this was automated, if there was a way that this could be done without me having to physically go in and click the buttons and do the things, I'm going to save time. And all of a sudden you'll start going down a rabbit hole where you're like, how else can I make this easier? And before you've got all these systems in places, automations, things set up to make your life easier in your business so that you can have that time for yourself. And it might be that you take that time and you spend it on trying to do more marketing in your business because in the season of business you're in, you're really in that growth stage. But it might also be that you're like, I'm going to take this extra hour I've just earned and I'm going to go and sit on the couch and read a book. So, any way you can make business easier, automations being a big one of them, is definitely something I always recommend for anyone. And it's amazing at how many things you can actually automate in your business.
Love it. And you are our time queen, aren't you, Renee?
Yes. So I have a Time Queen program because I really do understand the challenges of trying to build this business that you're wanting to have and also trying to navigate the time of being able to dedicate to building that business. Because I'm not going to sit here and pretend that business doesn't take your time and energy. It actually does until you get to a certain point when you can start scaling and you can start getting things in place. There is that dedication of your time. And so I've created a program that allows you to find a structure, find a framework that actually allows you to have the time you need to dedicate to your business, focus on those priority tasks that are going to move the needle forward for you, those income producing tasks, but then also have it fit the season of life that you're in. Because for each of us, we've all got different time available to us. I hear this thing of like, we've all got 24 hours in a day. And I'm like, no, that is not correct in terms of, yet physically on a clock, we have 24 hours, but my 24 hours might look so different to your 24 hours. And so this program allows you to set up a schedule and work your time and also your energy, because it's not just a time thing for women in business, that's actually going to work with your season of life, your priorities, your goals, your responsibilities, and have it just really work for you, which is something I'm so big on. I really despise the follow my step 1, 2, 3 equals success for you, because there's nuance. We're all different people. We've got different things going on in our lives. So this program really helps you find the time that you need.
Love it. I will link that down below for everyone to go and check that out. What inspired you to start your business in the first place?
Well, that's a really interesting question because I have been in business for such a long time. I think when I very first started a business, so it was in my very, very early 20s. And to be really honest, I was really bored in my job. And so I was like, what is something I can do that's going to be fun and be something that I can have that's my own? So I started a business back then. But as things evolved and changed, and obviously I stepped in and out of different businesses in that time as well. Once I became a mum, that's when things really kind of shifted for me, because I wanted to have the freedom and the flexibility to be there with my kids. I kind of wanted that childhood that I had where my mum was home. She was able to take me to school. She was there for all of my assemblies and the things that I was doing. She got to pick me up from school. And that's really what I wanted for my kids. And I was like, how am I going to achieve that? I have a boss. I have to ask for time off. It's a different world now. And so business to me was partly the freedom and flexibility piece. But then again, it still comes back to that joy and fulfillment and like having something that I actually really love. That's for me. And I think as a mum too, there's that piece that is really important too, because I don't know if this is your experience or the listeners' experience, but as a mum, you can so easily like lose yourself. And I think having a business is just this beautiful outlet that you get to be you in, you get to have it's all for you. And if it's something that you love and enjoy and sets your heart on fire, like my business does, like there's so much fulfillment you get from that as well. So yeah, it definitely changed over the time, but I think at a core, it still always come back to like meeting a need I had, and more than anything, just this fulfillment and passion piece to it too.
Yeah, I'm very similar as well. Like, I think to begin with, it's definitely that freedom and flexibility. Like, if you have kids at school, you don't want to miss out on assemblies, you want to go to the sports carnivals and that sort of thing. And when you've got a boss who's like, I need you to work, that's obviously a big part of it and a big incentive, I think, for a lot of mums who decide to go into business and work for themselves. If you're
Yeah,
missing work in
absolutely.
that school hour like period, like that can
Mm,
be difficult. So,
mm.
but I do think finding something that you're actually passionate about is just so important because you
Oh,
can start in business and be all excited about it. But as time goes on, there are blocks that come up and there are roadblocks that come along the path that you need to work through. Is that what you found as well?
absolutely. I mean, being in business is a personal development journey in itself, because it is a ride. It is not like going to a job where you clock in, you clock out, and you leave your worries at the door and walk away, and you that's it. You're done. Being in business, there's highs, there's lows. So when you're experiencing one of the lows, it is so important that you have such a drive in the business that you have chosen for yourself, that you have this passion and this desire, because it is what's going to help you get through these low periods that unfortunately we all experience and we will go through. It's the driving force that helps you keep going forward. And I honestly have seen this with clients I've worked with, that if you don't have that, when you get the wobbles, when things feel like they're not going to plan or things aren't working out the way you thought, that's when you can start really edging on out and wondering if it's all worth it, because you haven't got this drive and this passion behind you that really helps you push forward. So I strongly believe that that's a key ingredient to success in business. You have to love what you do and have this real purpose and why behind what it is that you're doing. And sometimes that can just look as simple as, I'm in business because this really works for my lifestyle, as being, say, a mum in business. Or it could be that you just have such a passion for helping others, which I know, Jenna, that is absolutely you. And so there's this key little thing that helps you stay in business. And it really is your purpose, your why, the reason you started your business. And I come back to it time and time again. Whenever things get hard in business, I always have to remind myself, this is why you're here, Renae. This is why you do the work you do. And yeah, it's just that core thing I think we all need.
I love that we can have this conversation because my experience has been business brings up everything, like
Oh,
all the fears. We talk about visibility and putting yourself out there, and it brings all those sort of blocks up that you have to work through. I've found personally, like your mindset and working through those blocks is just like such a key component to getting where you want to go. Like without that mindset work, it's going to be very difficult to move through those blocks. So I just love that you incorporate that into your coaching.
mm. I think it's a piece that's underestimated, because you go into business, you might have started, let's just say you love flowers and you become a florist and you start this beautiful florist business. you don't go into business thinking, I need to work on my mindset. There's going to be these blocks that I'm going to face. They just all of a sudden come on and hit you. And so I think for us being in personal development work as well, we know that our mindset is also a key driver in us being able to create the success that we want in business. And I love that business does bring up all of our fears and insecurities, and it makes us really face them, because you cannot get to the level of success that you want, to reach the goals that you want, without having to do the work to get there. And we hear that do the work, and sometimes people don't necessarily understand what that means and what's involved. And it is facing those fears, actually working through them, overcoming and moving past them, so that you can step into the version of yourself that has the thing that you want, that's achieved that goal, that has that business success. And if we don't do that kind of work, we stay stagnant and we stay where we are.
I
And,
always have a saying, do it scared.
yes. And I think that's another part of mindset work too, of people feel like there's this secret recipe, this golden key that you need to unlock that for yourself, and not realizing that actually it sometimes just means do the thing. Like, in terms of fear, showing up on social media is something that a lot of my clients come to me and they're like, Renae, I can't do it. Like, I'm scared.
Me
And
too.
I'm like, yeah, I'm like, you're not going to build the confidence unless you strengthen the confidence muscle. And what that looks like is you have to have the courage to do the thing, to build the confidence to do that, but to have what it is that you're wanting to have. So yes, do it, and do it scared. And honestly, as both of us have been in business a long time, we can both hand on heart say that so much of business is doing it scared.
Yeah, and let's normalize that, hey?
Yeah. Yeah.
What is something that you wish that someone had told you before you started your business?
It would actually be that you are going to have to face some hard things, that you are going to have some resilience, that things are going to get tough at times. I think sometimes, and especially when you first go into business, it's like shiny object of like, I'm so excited. I've got like all the motivation. I'm inspired. I'm ready to go. And like, you've got all of this beautiful energy to create and launch whatever it is that you have as your business. And at some point, that is going to start dwindling away. And at some point, you're going to have to face some hard things. So you might have a launch that isn't as successful as you want it to be. You might face a difficult client. You might be needing to show up online and you're scared and you're nervous. You've got all of these things that come up, these things that are unpredictable, and knowing that you can face them and you can handle these challenges. And I think the thing that helps me get through any hard times in business, because I feel like I've been through so many of them in all the different businesses I've had, is having support.
Yeah.
I think as somebody who has an online business, no one in my personal world had a business. I'm the first person in my entire family to ever have their own business. None of I've got lots of friends now that have businesses, but in the beginning stage, I was the only person doing what I'm doing. And so I didn't have people in my world to be like, hey, I'm facing this, I'm dealing with this, like, I don't know what to do, because they would be like, I don't know what to do either. I go to work for a boss and I have a job and I don't know what that whole world looks like. So for me, having support and community to lean on has been really, really important. So I guess to answer that question, it might have been to get yourself support and find yourself a community to be a part of alongside your business journey, because something I have definitely experienced is business can feel really lonely and isolating. And when you couple that with also being a mum, which can be an isolating, lonely journey too, it can feel like a lot. So I honestly believe everyone in business, especially every woman in business, she needs support, she needs community. And you can find that in so many different ways. It might be, Jenna, you and I connected through social media and started a conversation. We've developed this beautiful friendship between us. So you can find that connection, that community in so many different ways. And we're so blessed to have technology like social media, Zoom, all of these things available to us to find people to lean on for that support to help you through the hard times. Because, I mean, I don't want this episode to be all doom and gloom and it be like, business is hard. Business gets to be fun too. Business gets to be easy too and enjoyable and all the things. But it's just in those harder times, it's so important to have someone to lean on.
I agree so much. Like, community for me has been massive in my business journey. Just having other people to have the honest conversations with of, though sometimes it can be hard and then sometimes it can be fun. And just having people along for that ride and the journey with you who actually get it. Because sometimes our family, our friends, they don't really get it. And they get sick of us talking about our business too, right? Like, hey, I just want to bounce this idea off you, and they're really not interested. So
No.
people in your world that you can just bounce ideas off is massive.
Yeah, and it's not even just that, but I know for me that when I've shared something that's gone really incredibly well for me in business with friends and family, sure, they're happy for me and proud and whatever it might be, but they really don't get it. But if I'm to share like a win with someone like you, Jenna, you really get it. Like, I know what you've been through to get to that stage or reach that milestone or whatever that looks like. So the community aspect isn't just for the hard times, it's actually to celebrate the wins that you're going to have along the way too. And there's nothing quite like women in business cheering each other on. It honestly is, you just celebrate even bigger because you've got these people around you that are cheering you on and they've been there with you through those hard times. So they are celebrating those wins so much more than sometimes you even are yourself. So yeah, the community aspect is big. And I mean, it's not even just the support side of things and the encouragement. It's also just that you can build these incredible connections with people that can lead to collaborations like you and I today, right now, that has formed so organically through our connection. I don't even know when our connection was, but it was quite some time ago now.
Years ago, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you find your people, you find your people. And I think it's also important just to add that sometimes you may go into a business community and they're not your people. And that's okay. That's okay because your people are out there. And so try a few groups and just see where you fit in.
That's really important, I think, for you to mention that because I know that I have definitely been a part of different programs and communities and different spaces that I felt like I don't quite belong here. These don't feel like my people. And that's actually okay. It's okay to be in a space and feel like something feels amiss here. This doesn't feel like the right space for me because you will find that space for you. And when you do, you'll be like, now I get what Renae was talking about. These are my people. This is my community. Like, I get it now. And when you get to do business alongside a community of other people they have the same aspirations as you, similar goals to you, honestly, it just makes business so much more enjoyable and fun.
What did you avoid too long in business that actually moved the needle? Like, what did you avoid that sort of progressed you that you put off for too long?
Oh my gosh, like coming to mind feels like so many things. I think the biggest one though is just simply putting myself out there, especially when it came to coaching. So I've had my coaching business 6 years now. In the very beginning, I almost didn't want people to know I was even doing my certification and stepping into this world. Any kind of visibility or exposure was like so scary to me back then. But yet that was what's needed to have a business. So I think beyond that though has just been still putting myself out there on social media. It can be very scary. The online space, I mean, I personally haven't experienced this and I'm grateful for that, but I'm sure it's coming too. But the online space can feel scary because you might share a view or opinion on social media with the best intentions possible, and all of a sudden you can get backlash. And so it can feel very scary to like put yourself out there, but it's the very thing you need to do. Have the visibility to get the leads to create the business that you want as well. So I think for me, it would still be a showing up and just putting myself out there, which can feel really raw and vulnerable to do. But equally, you get to find your people that way too. Like I have the most incredible clients that I get to work with because of doing that. So it's double-edged sword. There's always two sides to everything where you can look at it from both angles and go, well, there's some scary out there in the social media world, but there's also so much goodness too.
Your vibe attracts your tribe.
Absolutely.
Can you tell me about your mastermind?
Yes. So my mastermind is just my happy little space. It is a mastermind for women in business who are in the midst of juggling all the things, who maybe have started the business, they might have created some income, they've got traction there, but they've found that they are devoting so much time and energy to their business that they're starting to forget about themselves and their life outside of their business. So the mastermind space is for women like that who get to come together and they get me as support, as the coach to lean on. But again, as we talked about before, there's also that community aspect as well. And my mastermind is actually an intentionally small, intimate space. I intentionally created it to be small because I really wanted those deeper connections to be formed. And I know that when you're in a group coaching space, it can feel really raw and vulnerable to put yourself out there and expose the parts of yourself that you're struggling with, or the parts of business that are feeling hard, or the relationship that feels like it's breaking down because you're consumed by your business. So when you're in this safe space with other women, you show up and strip bare all of the things that you need to so that you can work on those things and overcome them. So the mastermind space is just my happy little place, and getting to see women in there cheer each other on, celebrate each other makes my heart so happy. And there's been so much achieved inside of that space with the women as well. I mean, you've got clients that have reached 40K months, which is never the goal for me. I'm all about finding this beautiful cohesion between your life and your business. But even with that, there's still these big successes that are happening in business. And women just feeling like they've found their groove, they've found their life and business sweet spot that works for them. That I've got women in there who are taking a day off for themselves every single week because all of a sudden they've built this business that's enabling that for them. So yeah, it's just my happy little place. And I absolutely love and adore the women that I get to work with inside of that space. And just to see them create what they're creating makes me so happy.
And I'd love for you to tell our audience about Renae Day.
So Renae Day's really caught on because a lot of my clients have created their version of that now. And Bianca, one of my clients, she's called her B Day, which I love because I'm like, that's like a reference to birthday as well. So because I am a mum in business, I do have the school hours available to me. So Monday to Friday, I'm going to say 9 till 2:30 because of traveling to school and whatnot. And so when I started my business and the kids were at school and I had all of this time available to me, I actually found from the beginning that I would literally sit in my business from 9 till 2:30. And then it hit me, I don't need to be doing this. So much of my time, I was actually fluffing around on Canva. I was tweaking things that I didn't need to be tweaking. Like, really, when you look at the productivity of it, do I need to sit at my desk for that many hours a day? No, I do not. So I really looked at designing my week to suit, yes, my business, but also just to suit me. And I thought, I have the luxury of having this time. I don't want to devote it all to my business. That is not what I want. So on a Friday, 9 till 2:30, I was like, what? That's going to be a white space day. Nothing's going to be booked in on that day. That is just a day for me. And so I titled it Renae Day. and it's catchy and it caught on. So Renae Day is every Friday, and as I said, it's white space. So that day is simply for me just to enjoy. And there's something really special about having something at the end of your week to look forward to like that, of knowing that at the end of my week, I've got all of this time that's dedicated to me. And sometimes I might go out for lunch with a friend. I might sit and read a book. I might go to the beach. Sometimes I still choose to work. I might study. I might go and visit my beautiful dear old nan. It's just this day that's for me. And it's really nice to have that when so much of life is still somewhat structured. You've got kids to pick up. I've got business and clients and all of those things. And Renae Day just gets to be a day that's just for me. And so it's a treasured day. And I highly recommend people taking a leaf out of my book in that regard. And it might be that you don't have a whole day you can dedicate. And I fully get that. Seasons of life look different. Business might look different. But find somewhere in your week a pocket of time that you can have that's just for you. Allow yourself that reward and that permission to have that time for yourself, because it really does make a big difference. I'm all about being able to refill your cup. We hear this all the time. Refill your cup so you can give to everyone else. You can give to your business clients, your family, yourself. I don't want you just to refill your cup, only to pour it back out to everyone else and end your day with nothing left in your cup. I want your cup overflowing, so the overflow gets to go to everyone else, but you still have something in the cup at the end of the day left for you. And Renae Day definitely does that for me.
I absolutely love the concept of Renae Day. I don't have a Jenna Day yet. It will be coming. And I'd block out Fridays. So I don't do like client appointments or anything on Fridays. That's rest and reflection. But I'm still working as such. It's more reflection on what's happened during the week, doing the CEO tasks, that sort of thing. So Jenna Day is coming.
Yes, I will celebrate that with you when it comes.
I think we're so conditioned with the expectation is to work, work, work. And it's not to say that you don't need to put in the hard work, because you do need to put in the hard work in business, especially to get where you want to go. But that doesn't have to look like full-time hours.
And that's the thing. Part of that is actually, our relationship we have with productivity, of feeling like we must fill all of our time. I must be go, 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 go. And it can be really hard to actually go, what do you mean have a whole day for myself? What do you mean have white space in my calendar? So yeah, it's definitely an interesting concept. But I know for me, having Renae Day makes me so much more productive in my business. It makes me a better mum, because I have patience, because I've got this time where I'm giving back to myself. I just show up so differently having had that time and space for myself.
Love it. How can people connect with you?
So the best place to find me, and my favorite place to hang out, is over on Instagram. So you'll find me at Renae.O'Neill, or also at Life Aligned Business. And then I also have my podcast as well, which is the Life Aligned Business Podcast, which the beautiful Jenna here has actually been a guest on. So you can also go and check out her episode over on my podcast as well.
Wonderful. And we'll leave all the links below so people can just click on it. Thanks, Renae.